You want to be healthy and live longer, don't you? Well, I want you to be healthy and live longer. Well, in order to do this, though, don't you think it's a good idea to know when something might be wrong with your body? So you can get the appropriate help early, before irreversible damage happens. Well, you're in luck, because today, we're looking into something super important: the stroke. In the USA alone, almost 800,000 people suffer from a stroke each year, and about 17% of those people die from it.
Now, stroke cases have risen over the years, with 1 in 4 people expected to suffer one.
So yeah, you can click away if you want to, but this video, it might just save your life. In this video, we're going to unravel the 7 most important warning signs of strokes in women, and if you stay until the end, we'll also share some vital tips on risk factors, prevention, and even treatments. Listen, these signs can be incredibly sneaky and easy to miss, but catching them early can be a lifesaver. Literally. A stroke, or cerebral vascular accident, is a serious medical emergency that happens when blood flow to the part of the brain is interrupted or significantly reduced. This blockage cuts off the brain's supply of oxygen and nutrients, causing brain cells to begin dying within minutes. While strokes can affect anyone, men and women experience different risk factors, symptoms, and survival rates. According to the American Heart Association, women in the US have a higher stroke death rate than men. In fact, women ages 20 to 39 are twice as likely to suffer from a stroke than men in the same age group. For women, the risk factors are unique and can include things like using birth control pills, being pregnant, or even going through menopause. Additionally, women often have stroke symptoms that are more subtle or different from the typical signs we usually hear about. Ladies, I want you to stop whatever you're doing and pay close attention here. Warning sign number 1: sudden weakness in the face, arm, or leg. This feeling is a sudden loss of strength or feeling in one side of your body, and it can make lifting an arm or even smiling a real challenge. This usually affects just one side and can range from a mild tingling to complete paralysis. A quick way to check for this is the smile test, or just by raising both arms. Ask the person to smile or lift both arms over their head. If one side of their face droops or one arm starts to drop involuntarily, this should raise red flags immediately. If untreated, this weakness can turn into permanent paralysis, and depending on which part of the brain is affected, you might lose the ability to move certain parts of your body, or have trouble speaking, or even experience changes in perception and personality. Now, if you don't catch it early enough, the recovery can be extremely tough, often requiring long rehab sessions aimed at getting back as much mobility and function as possible. Simple tasks like dressing, eating, and walking might become incredibly difficult. That's why it's crucial to act fast when a stroke is suspected. The quicker you get help, the better chances of recovery and minimizing long-term damage. Warning sign number 2: vision problems in one or both eyes. If you suddenly experience blurred vision, double vision, or even a loss of vision, especially without any clear reason, it could be a stroke. This symptom is serious and can show up in various ways. It's particularly sneaky because it is often dismissed as something less serious, like maybe eye strain or even fatigue. Vision problems during a stroke happen when the brain regions responsible for processing visual information, they don't get enough blood flow. This lack of oxygen can cause temporary or even permanent damage to the brain cells that help us to see. You can spot this sign by checking visual acuity, tracking the movement of objects with your eyes, then observing the pupil's response to light. For instance, if someone suddenly can't read text they usually find easy, or starts bumping into objects because they've lost their peripheral vision, it's a red flag. Another example is when someone suddenly sees spots or maybe double vision, making it tough to focus on anything specific. If you notice sudden vision changes, please don't ignore them. Get medical help right away. Warning sign number 3: difficulty walking, dizziness, a loss of balance, or coordination. These symptoms suggest that the stroke is impacting the brain areas responsible for movement and spatial awareness. When the blood flow to these regions is disrupted, it can lead to sudden disorientation and even trouble walking. A practical example of this sign is when a person suddenly can't walk in a straight line. Maybe they trip frequently or can't stand without support. And even more signs is experiencing vertigo, the sensation that you or your surroundings are spinning, which can lead to a serious loss of balance. If this person didn't have a late night of drinking, it's not a hangover. It could be a stroke, so get that person some medical help immediately. Warning sign number 4: severe headache with no apparent cause. Now, this headache can be a sign of cerebral hemorrhage, a type of stroke where bleeding occurs inside of our brain. This headache is often described as significantly different from any the person has experienced ever before. The headache associated with a stroke happens when bleeding or blockage in the brain increases pressure inside our skull, causing sudden, severe pain. In the case of hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding can irritate brain tissue or the brain's linings, leading to this severe headache. If someone suddenly develops a headache so severe it's described as the worst headache of their life, it might be accompanied by nausea, vomiting, or extreme sensitivity to light and sound. And unlike common headaches or hangover headaches, this one comes on without warning and reaches peak intensity very quickly. Warning sign number 5. Unexplained fatigue. Now, this is not your typical tiredness, but extreme exhaustion that comes on suddenly and isn't relieved by rest or sleep. And it's not the kind of fatigue after an intense workout. Oh no, it's more like what you'd be feeling after running a full marathon. This symptom often appears alongside another stroke symptom from our list. It occurs when the stroke affects areas of the brain responsible for energy and alertness. Diagnosing the symptom as part of a stroke can be tricky since fatigue is subjective and can be attributed to many other conditions. If you or someone you know experiences sudden, severe fatigue without a clear cause, please don't brush it off. It could be something way more serious lurking in their brain. Warning sign number 6. Sudden mental confusion or difficulty speaking or understanding. Now imagine someone all of a sudden can't speak clearly, starts stammering, or can't make sense of what others are saying. This is a big red flag, and it often shows up more prominently in women than in men. This symptom highlights how a stroke affects the brain's language and communication areas. When blood flow to these regions is cut off, the brain's ability to process or even express language can take a hit immediately. This can show up as a condition called aphasia, which means difficulty speaking or understanding words. The person might speak in broken sentences, maybe use the wrong words, or be unable to say anything at all. You can spot this sign by checking if the person can repeat simple sentences, maybe name some common objects, or follow basic commands. For example, if someone suddenly starts stuttering, struggles to find the right words, or seems confused by simple instructions, they might be having a stroke. Another clear indicator is when someone can't understand basic conversations or responds incoherently to straightforward questions. Warning sign number 7. Sudden changes in behavior or confusion. The final warning sign of a stroke to watch for is sudden changes in behavior or severe confusion. This can be particularly indicative of a stroke in women, as the condition can impact brain areas responsible for cognition, perception, and emotional regulation. A person experiencing a stroke might suddenly act disoriented, fail to recognize familiar people or even places. They might display dramatic mood swings, such as going from calm to aggressive in an instant. They may also struggle with simple tasks that require decision making, like choosing what to wear in the morning or preparing a small meal. Okay, recognizing these 7 signs can make a critical difference. However, it's equally important to understand the risk factors for stroke, especially those unique to women. Common risk factors like hypertension and diabetes affect both men and women, but women also face unique risks such as a history of preeclampsia or eclampsia during pregnancy, the use of hormonal contraceptives, postmenopausal hormone replacement therapy, and migraines. If you have experienced any of these conditions, you will have a higher risk of stroke. The good news is that we can prevent many serious health problems, including strokes, just by adapting to a healthier lifestyle. Remember, it's way easier to prevent the health problem from happening in the first place than dealing with the consequences later. So how do we prevent a stroke from happening? Well, it involves managing several controllable risk factors. The 4 key steps to prevent a stroke are 1. Healthy diet and regular exercise. 2. Control blood pressure and diabetes. Number 3. Reduce your alcohol consumption. And last but not least, number 4. Eliminate smoking. So maybe you've already suffered a stroke. What are some treatments? Well, there is a common misconception that stroke treatment always involves invasive surgery or that stroke survivors will inevitably have lasting effects. In reality, immediate treatment often includes medications to dissolve clots and prevent further clots. Surgery is only necessary in some cases to minimize brain damage. The speed of diagnosis and receiving medical care is crucial for good recovery. This is why recognizing the 7 most common stroke signs in women is so important. Did you find this useful? Do you know someone who has experienced a stroke? Leave your comments below and share this video with your friends and family. Thanks for watching. Remember that with a dash of effort and a pinch of self-care, you'll be rocking that youthful glow for years to come. If you've enjoyed this video, subscribe to our channel where we uncover more Revitalixer recipes.